Remember this as you set out to heal those inner wounds or trauma underlying your emotional triggers, that generally it's not an overnight fix. And I don't want to discount any miracles, but generally healing happens gradually. And there's a perk with that, because as you're healing, you're gradually learning new ways of thinking, new ways of believing, and new ways of being, so that when the healing's complete, you've established a whole new way of living that's going to support and sustain the healing that's happened. In processing grief and loss, I found a couple similarities to processing and healing childhood wounds. One of them being that grief has layers, but so do childhood wounds. So there's going to be different layers of possibly anger, sadness, different emotions that come. And as each layer presents itself, you're going to have a little more capacity for it, a little more resources to deal with it, and a little more understanding for it. And layer by layer, you will heal. Another similarity is, just like grief, you don't know when it's going to drop in on you and a rush of sadness flow through you. So it is with childhood wounds. You can't always predict when you're going to emotionally connect with that wound. But when you do, and a rush of emotions comes up, you want to greet it with love and understanding. You don't want to do what potentially happened when that wound initially occurred, where you were dismissed, shut down, discarded, made to feel bad in some way. Greet it with love so that it can process and be released. It can seem like a really slow, sluggish process, but think of it like this. A friend of mine shared this analogy with me recently that was really good, where think of two train tracks exactly parallel to each other. If you will just take one of those train tracks and just keep adjusting it 1%, for the first while, you're not going to notice any difference. But give it a year or two, and you're going to notice a huge shift happening with that train track. It's the way it is with you. If you will just keep working on yourself diligently, shifting 1%, healing 1%, over time, you're going to notice so much more capacity to enjoy life, so much more freedom of spirit and freedom from those triggers. There's a proverb that says, steady plodding brings prosperity. And another verse that says, be not weary in well-doing, for in due season you will reap if you faint not.